Okay, welcome to FinancialGinger. I'm your host, Jacob, and yes, I am wearing plaid as always. Well, not every time, but you know what I'm talking about. Today, we're going to talk about business and automation and how there usually has to be a better way. Today, my guest, I'm really excited to have Ryan Howard on. He is the founder of Redline Design, a digital marketing firm focused on helping business grow through data-driven advertising and scalable revenue systems. Ryan's known for his obsession with automation and efficiency, and Ryan builds strategies that turn attention into measurable results. Coming from humble beginnings, he carved his path through disciplined execution, constant iteration, and a refusal to settle for average. His work centers on simplifying complex marketing processes and replacing manual efforts with systems that scale. Outside of business, you'll always catch Ryan around supercars, motorcycles, and racetracks. Need for speed, am I right?
Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm excited. I always say this. I'm always a little bit selfish in who I ask to have my podcast because I always want to know things for myself. And I'm like, well, if I'm interested to know, surely someone is going to listen and be like, oh, wow, that's interesting for me too. I'm like, yeah, so you have. But I'm particularly interested with marketing because I am not good at it. I'm terrible at it. Like most of my business growth over the first 6-ish years of me doing insurance literally was just like me throwing a random post on Facebook, just being like, hey, FYI, I do insurance, and like friends of mine. And then eventually it was like friends of my friends being like, hey, Bob sent me your way. Hey, Jameson sent me your way. I'm like, oh, wow.
Mostly referrals. And
yeah. And so I'm just barely getting into the whole like space of creating with podcasting and other stuff. But yeah, if someone's starting, I suppose that's where I want to ask. If someone's starting from absolute kind of zero, like I am, where's a good place to start in marketing?
So I don't think there's a lot of bad places to start, but I think you want to start with the lowest cost, highest return things that you can, right? You don't want to jump into an ad campaign and start spending $5,000 a month. Right?
Yeah.
So what can you do for free? This is where AI comes in, right? Have it list out all the things you could do for free that it could help you with. And then once you've done those, what can you do for the next like smallest amount of cost you could possibly put it into something? Do all of those and then just keep going up, and you're going to get traffic from each of those as you do them.
Gotcha.
With social media, it's really about consistency. There are certain things the algorithm looks for, but just being consistent with it, posting, once or twice a day is tedious as that is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a lot of work
making
content that's worth putting out every single day.
Yes,
Yeah.
It is. But once you get the hang of it and you really get it down, that's a really good way to pick up and go with it. And there are tools out there where you can post, you can make the content once, post it, and it goes to 10 places.
Yeah. I use Metricool.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like it auto posts to Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook because like manually posting to 8 different websites would take so much time.
It does.
So just automate it with a little tool, and it's cheap. It's like $40 or $50 a month. Like that's not, obviously that's a cost, but how much more time is it going to save you?
What's your time worth?
Yeah, exactly. And if that hour or two of time every single day, 30 times a month, right? There's 30 hours right there.
Yeah.
That's worth $50.
My thing is I am just super ADHD. So if it's tedious at all, I'm not going to do it. And I know I'm not going to do it. I've come to terms with that. So I'd rather just automate it once and then be done with it. Any software I could find to,
I'll spend 3 hours figuring out how to do a 5-minute task so I never have to do the 5-minute task again.
100%.
Yeah, that's actually something I really need to figure out because we were talking about before we started recording. One of my biggest blockages in my funnel is the actual quoting process with my insurance carriers. And it's because, there's 25 different websites, and there are solutions that automate it. The problem is they're terribly inaccurate. So like there's a company called Easy Links is one of them. And they just you put all your logins to different insurance carriers and you plug in all the client data and it just shoots it out and then pulls it back. The problem is every carrier has some unique questions that other insurance companies don't ask about, right? Like this one asks if you drink alcohol because it's a big discount with them if you do or don't. But if you don't put it in the system, it can't put yes or no in the way EasyLinks pushes it out. Or sometimes it'll automate to one or the other. But it comes back and then it gives you a list of the prices. Well, they're always wrong. Like Progressive figured out that, and they always have certain things that they don't let you click. And so the rate's literally always half of what it actually ends up being at the end. So they're always at the top of my list when you run it through those companies, right? Through that software. And so you're always going to go check price of it, and then you finalize it and you're like, oh, it doubled in price. It still might be cheaper, right? And then there's some companies that like are terrible at optimizing for this AI strategy, right? Well, I don't know if it's AI, but this tool, and their rates are always worse than they actually are. And so it's like, this tool is useless to me because it's not actually giving me the pricing for my customers. And if they wanted that, they could just go online and use one of those online, right? Like plug your data in, sell it to 400 people, and you're gonna have everyone call you with rates. Like, so we do all of our quotes by hand because then I know the rate's correct. But right, like when it takes an hour to an hour and a half per quote to run that through 25 companies, even if it's 3 to 5 minutes per quote, it's like, well, if we run that through 20 carriers, that takes an hour, right? And
that sounds like ADHD hell.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's brutal for me because I've never been diagnosed, but there are signs. There are signs that I might not be able to focus very well. I have to like do Wordle halfway through the day just to like refocus. I'm like, I need 35 seconds. I'm bad at Wordle. Anyways, that's not important right now. There we go. There's my ADHD.
Well, like anything, practice, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know specifically with the insurance industry. I used to do insurance back in the day. I did life insurance for a while.
Oh, cool.
And I hated it.
Oh,
it was terrible.
It's brutal.
Oh my God.
I did life insurance for like 6 months. It was
You're
like
sitting down with a family
die.
of 5 and you're like, okay, so when you die, what's going to happen to the rest of you? And you're having that conversation 8 times a day. It is like the most depressing thing you can do.
It's kind of fun though.
Yeah.
Some people are going to die and that they should prepare for it.
Yeah.
Did you do a lot of like term insurance or like whole insurance or variable?
Kind of a mix, but generally whole was the idea.
Cool.
Yeah, that was a nightmare.
Yeah.
As far as the quotes go, I don't know what software is out there or which software is good and which isn't. That's probably where I'd look at maybe building something.
Yeah.
Which you can do probably a lot easier than you think you can.
Yeah. Well, because I've never done more than I've had like Grok and ChatGPT write some Excel code for me. I'm trying to get my Excel spreadsheet to do this. What's the right way to do it? And it'll be like, oh, these are the operands, right? Because I just don't know the operands because I don't use it constantly. And then I'll be like, okay, well, I want to use this and I want it to transfer to this other sheet. Like I need to pull data from this sheet. It's like, here's exactly how you do it. And then it'll write it for me and I'll copy it. And 99% of the time it works perfectly. I'm like, oh, this is great. So I'm sure you can do more complex coding.
Yes.
Because like I've heard that some of these AIs you can make bots with.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work? Is that like an executable file that you generate using it, or
there are really a few different ways that you can do it. You can make like a web portal, have it build it out for you using something like Replit or Claude. And it can build out like a web portal for you to sign in, put the info in, and then it just shotguns it to all of the places and pulls it back in. And then it's your software that you own.
Yeah.
In-house. Actually wouldn't be that complicated to build. And the cool thing is if you tell it what you're trying to do, you don't need to be technical. It will figure it out. And then you need to test it and be like, hey, when I tried this, it broke here. And it's like, oh, okay, I'll fix that now. Like it just goes and figures out why it broke. They self-diagnose. You could have it as an executable file. There's a lot of ways to do it. I would just start with having your own like kind of CRM, if you will, that you can send that info out to. They're going to have the same questions every time for each provider, right? Now, different providers are going to have different
they're going to have extra questions, but they're all going to have a certain base amount of questions.
Right.
And then I can even just set it to, like, there's certain questions where I'm like, to get the quote, I always mark this, right? Like, I don't always ask people, do you want roadside assistance? I ask if they want full coverage or not. If they want full coverage, I'm going to automate 6 questions, right? And then we can go back at the end of it. It's like, oh, wait, right, that's part of the end of sales. It's like going through, it's like, hey, I defaulted these 2 things. If you remove them, it saves you this much money. Do you want them or not? Right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
But like some of the important things, it's like, if you don't check this on this carrier website, you won't get the proper rate because it's just like the way their computer works. And normally you can't do that when you're on the website yourself. But when you use Easy Links or one of these other systems to do it, somehow it can get by it. But it's like, it'd be easy, I think, with an EI to be like, I need this to be checked every single time.
Exactly.
Or these are the defaults. Always check these.
On this box, check it. And you have to go through the process with it, once for each of those.
Yeah.
And then you're pretty much good. If it breaks, you figure out where it broke, you tell it not to, and then it sorts itself. But you just have to do it once or twice for all of them. And then you could set it up so that when you get the information, you have it just open 25 sub agents at the same time with that information and fill it in and get a quote. As long as there's nothing really sensitive in that data. Security is a big part that gets overlooked with AI.
Yeah.
It's so cool and it makes your life so much easier, but man, it is a security nightmare if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, thankfully with auto insurance, home insurance, usually the most sensitive data you're dealing with is right? Obviously, name, date of birth, address.
That stuff's all out there. So that's
right.
fine.
But that stuff, people will be surprised how much of your stuff is out there. Like you can literally pull up the government app, look up like the plat maps, look up your name or look up your address. And it'll literally, unless you own your house in an LLC or a trust or something, it'll like literally, I'll pull up my address and it'll say Johnson, Jacob, ampersand, Johnson, Kimberly, right? Like it says your information. And sometimes those plat maps will even have your phone number on it, right? From the real estate transaction list, right? You put that on there and that is public information. So
you can find all of that super easy.
Anyway. So that's not too bad. Occasionally I've had to use someone's social security number. Sometimes someone has like really bad credit or they've got a bunch of insurance claims in the last couple of years or whatnot. And insurance company's like, we want to verify this is the right person. But that happens with less than 1% of people. And those quotes, fine, I can manually go plug that into the 3 or 4 carriers. Like that's not a big deal. But if I can get rid of, that's interesting. How do you even begin starting something like that? Like, because you talked about Claude. I've heard that. I have no idea what it is.
So Claude is, it's an LLM. So it's a learning language model. And that's really what people are referring to when they say AI. That's really what they're talking about.
Yeah, they're talking about LLMs. It's not really AI, it's LLMs.
Yeah. So Claude has different languages within it. Like Opus is one of them. Very, very powerful development tool. Okay. It builds insane things in minutes. It's crazy. We're working on a dashboard on my side right now that I can build the content for social media and for advertising campaigns, like paid ads. It'll build the content, produce it, manage the campaigns, say, hey, this is like out of whack. You're spending too much on this. We can adjust this. And it'll give you like live AI recommendations.
For like Facebook and Instagram and Reddit ads and all that.
Exactly. And it will also automatically crawl the website for SEO and produce SEO content and upload that. So that part's automated. And like all of it's one thing, right? It took me maybe an hour to get like a working prototype.
Wow. But see, don't Reddit and Instagram and Facebook have like APIs you can plug into the bots, right? That can make it easier for them to access and navigate data, right? Where a lot of these insurance carrier websites, I doubt have APIs.
So correct. I ran into that actually. That used
right.
to
And a
be
lot of them have
bigger
two-factor
issue.
authentication too, where it's going to send me, which is fine because I get text on my computer. So I'm sure I could use it to read my text to get the codes, which sounds scary to a lot of these security people. My brother's going to listen to this. He used to work at like Citibank and Goldman Sachs, like doing security and back end stuff. And then he worked at EA and Citibank and Amazon for a while, like doing some front end development. But like he was like the security, like worked in security. So he's probably going to read that and he's like, what? Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Your computer can read your text. That is terrible. Well, too late.
Yeah, you do have to be careful with what you're actually giving it access to.
Yeah.
Because if it can get 2-factor to that phone, then it can get 2-factor to any of your
stuff that you have.
So yeah, I just set up an iMac at home, went to Best Buy, bought a new one, and I put a 24/7 uptime autonomous AI on it. Kind of built my own. I called it Jarvis because I'm an Iron Man fan. And it would just look through tasks that I assigned to it and just say, hey, I handled this for you. I handled this for you. Just makes my life easier. But I also gave it its own phone number and its own set of credentials that are not linked to mine.
Oh, okay.
So whenever it's something that it's going to be doing consistently, I reroute it to that.
So yeah, and with insurance carrier websites, each person has their own unique logins, and I can't create new logins, right? Like I'd have to give it my own personal ones, and that's.
Yeah, and maybe you could like set up another user that has access. Maybe I don't know how they work on that side.
Yeah.
That'd be a little trickier to get around. The APIs are less of an issue now because AIs have gotten so good with browser control. It's insane. You can tell it to go quote on 25 websites and it will open 25 tabs on your computer and go fill it in for you. Like you could do that on your own. Just again, it becomes
But speeding up that business process.
Yeah. At least for the ones you can, right? If you can do it for half of them, great. That's half you don't have to do.
That's half of it. Yeah. It saved a lot of effort. It's like thinking like where to even start that. Because also how much like computing power are you going to need, right? Like if I've got a computer that doesn't have a lot of space, it's like, oh, I might need to get a new computer.
Yeah.
Because AI is pretty hungry for data. And
it's not super hungry with your machine, generally speaking. As long as you have enough RAM to open like a bunch of tabs, you're fine.
No, and I've had 30 plus tabs open at a time.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, I wouldn't stress that. Then you're fine. Most of it is based off of where the computer is being hosted for the sub agent. It's virtual. It's not your computer that's really
Oh yeah.
it's consuming, right? You could really run it off of a Raspberry Pi if you
Oh.
wanted to. Like, you totally do that.
Wow.
Yeah. I
Oh,
bought
that's
like a
crazy
base
stuff.
iMac and it's been sufficient
Yeah.
for that. Yeah, you could start it with Claude. Just, log in, create an account, tell it what you want to do, and it'll start building things out and then figure out what works and what doesn't. You'll have to test it a little bit.
Yeah. Tinker with it.
It'll be like, hey, you put a button there and the button doesn't do anything. And it's like, oh, you're totally right. And it'll go and make it do the thing it's supposed to do.
Is Claude free?
There's a free version. It is relatively inexpensive.
Okay.
You could probably build that whole thing for a few $100 by the time you're done, maybe less.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then you'll have a little bit of
Which, considering how much custom software costs,
yes.
I've seen. I used to work for a company called XY Planning Network, and they help financial planners launch their businesses, right? Like getting all the software and how they get paid and the management systems and all that stuff. Like it's just huge. So that's what XY Planning Network does. Helps financial planners launch businesses and manage and run them.
Well, to build something like that,
Yeah.
10 years ago, it would have been $100,000, $200,000.
Yeah. Well, they just built an app for like their events. And I think they spent like $50,000 just on like building an app for running. Right. Just like, here's what room number this event is in. And, here's how you can connect with all the people. But this was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like that was probably very reasonable for that time period.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
But nowadays it's like, oh yeah, a couple $100 still might be. Oh yeah, but think about it, how much time that theoretically is going to save. I'm going to have to tinker with that a little bit more. Maybe I'll have to shoot you and be like, hey, here's questions I have as I go. The resident expert, because that's just so fascinating to me. Like how to use AI to improve your workflows, right? Like the amount of data that a trawler can trawl through on Reddit to find, here are the posts that have the most views in this topic, and here's the words choices that they use or whatever, or here's the hashtags on Facebook, Instagram that have more views on average, or right. Like it can scroll through 10,000 things in the time you can probably look through 5, like it's just sheer efficiency is unmatched. And then you can utilize that data. A lot of people are like, oh, well, you're having it. It's like, maybe you're having it do some of the pre-writing or whatever. It's like, here's the data. Here's what I think's right. But like even me with the podcast descriptions, because sometimes there's a gap between when I recorded and when I'm going back to write that before it goes live, I'll be like, hey, here's the transcript. Can you remind me of the most important things that happened? Or can you remind me, like, give me some of the main and sub bullet points, and I'll write what I write. And then I'm like, oh, I forgot about these 2 things we talked about that are super important. Well, I want that in the description, because if it's in the description, right, YouTube and they're all going to see that and they utilize that, right? And it helps it get to the right audience. And if I forget it by human error, people are going to miss out on that content. So it's like, why not utilize that to optimize content? Like, you're not using AI to create Mona Lisas. You're using AI to improve your workflow, which is how it should be, right? It should load the dishwasher and it should do your market research for you. It shouldn't.
Yeah, you can even, just tell it like, these are the struggles that I have. This is where I'm stuck. What would you suggest doing? And it will probably give you some ideas. And you're like, oh, that's actually really good. Because it's had to solve it for other people. Right?
Yeah.
And it learns. That's the whole idea. We used to refer to computers kind of as a joke as really fast idiots.
Yeah.
Because they're very, very fast at processing data. Very fast. But they don't learn. You have to give it some kind of instruction. This is, really the first time in history that's not the case. They get better every day.
Dramatically.
Like fast.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy just how fast it gets better.
So you can really just ask it like, hey, I'm stuck here. What would you recommend doing? It'll give you ideas. And then you can say, okay, how many of those can you handle for me? And then just tell it to go do it. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah. And I'm sure it would walk me through. It's like, hey, if I can do this for you, I'm like, okay, well, how could you do that for me? It's like, oh, well, I need your login to this. I need logins to this. I need access to this. Is there an API? Like, I'm sure it would walk me through how to do it. Like, you don't need to know how to code.
Yeah, and a lot of times it'll just open the tab and say, hey, I need you to sign in. And then it can do everything after that, but it won't like take the password in the thing for security, right? Depending on what you're using. I remember probably a year ago, I was looking at local chambers of commerce and entertaining getting into a few of them. So I would have had to search, every chamber, look at it, get the information, figure out how much it costs and like how many people are in it, what businesses are in it, yada, yada. So I just open agent mode and I'm like, this is what I want to do. And it opens a tab and just goes and makes a list for me, gives me an Excel file with all of them and the costs and like everything I need to know about it. And it took it 10 minutes.
Yeah. And
That
even
would
if
take
it's
me
not
half a
perfectly
day.
accurate, like it's close enough.
Yeah, maybe missed a couple, but like it saved me half a day.
Yeah.
I'll take that trade.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. That's definitely worth it. That's interesting.
Quick pause. Financial Ginger is sponsored by me. If your insurance renewal just went up and you're not sure why, that's exactly why I exist. I'm an independent insurance broker here in Utah. I represent nearly 25 insurance companies so I can compare their rates and coverage side by side and show you your options clearly. When you call my office, you get a real person, no robot, no menu, just a real conversation. Email jacobinsuresutah@gmail.com or call and text 801-216-8444 and I'll review your coverage personally. All right, let's get back to the episode.
So thinking back, I want to ask kind of a question about getting into this. Like, was there a specific moment that kind of changed you to be more focused on this automation? Because I know like you always are focusing on automation, but like what was the point in your life that changed that? Like I know you talked about being ADHD and stuff. Like what was that big turning point where you were like, oh, I need to automate all of this?
Yeah, for somebody that works 80, 100 hours a week, I am a horrifically lazy person. At least I want to be at my core. I would like to be a lazy person.
You lie and tell yourself you're lazy.
Yeah, I like the option to be, I guess.
Mm.
But also there's a lot of things that I would like to do in life and realizing, okay, if I do this once and automate it so I never have to worry about this again, especially the tedious things that are just time vampires that I have to do every week. How much time does that free up? Okay, 3 hours a week after I get this done. Well, what can I do with that 3 hours a week? Right. And just like one thing leads to another. So for, working 80, 100 hours a week, I really am like outputting like 200 or 300 hours because of all the automations. That's a big part of it.
Yeah, that's wild. I am so far behind that, but that's good. We talked about it a lot. I'm going to learn and get into it.
It's getting easier to catch up. That's the cool thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's getting easier because it's so much better at teaching you how to teach it. Yes. Right. Because so many people have done that. It's like, how do I teach you how to teach what I need? Right. Like you said, even at the beginning, it's like, tell me what I need to do. Like, what are those free things I need to be doing? Right. What are those cheap things I need to be doing? Like what's the next step? Where do I start? It's probably coached thousands of people in that. And so it's like, here's what other people have done.
Yeah, just talk to it like a person, like an employee that you're like, hey, this is what I have going on. Which of these things can you handle? And just have a conversation with it and it will get better at helping you specifically. So
that's so wild to me.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Okay. From a marketing perspective, I don't know. I like to ask about like expensive mistakes so people don't make them because, right, like obviously starting from the ground and from the cheap things and the free things is really important. But what do you see small businesses doing that are like terribly inefficient with their marketing money?
Well, they're kind of doing the opposite of that. So they're like, okay, I need leads. So I'm going to go spend $5,000 a month on ads. Okay. Who are you targeting? We're just going to shotgun everybody.
Everyone.
Oh, okay. Yeah. This is going to get expensive really fast. And then you're going to get really bad leads and you haven't developed a system to handle the leads. So you have a lot of it just getting missed. Like you don't have a CRM. I had a company, this is years ago, but we sent them like 300 leads in a month and they didn't have a CRM. They had some guy, Jim or whatever. All the leads are going to a Gmail inbox. And he was supposed to be calling them. He called like 5 of them a week after they came in. And they're like, we didn't convert anything. Now, I didn't know that's what was happening, right? So we talk about it. I'm like, there's no way.
How do you not convert these? Yeah.
How, right? And that's exactly what was happening. So I'm like, okay, we need to get a CRM set up so we can manage this and track it. And everything fell through the cracks there. So getting those like basic fundamentals handled first, having a decent website that doesn't like scare people when they land on it. They're like, this is going to give me a virus. I'm leaving. Like,
yeah,
you're done. Getting those basic, relatively cheap things done first, then you start throwing some gasoline on the fire.
Makes sense. You need to have it
kind of a funnel. So you have, the things that bring traffic in, and then you have your website. They submit a lead or buy something, whatever it is. Your bottom of the funnel, your conversion needs to be like bulletproof. Otherwise, you're wasting so much up here that's just falling through the mesh.
Yeah. If you're not following up on leads, stop getting leads. Fix that funnel first of how you're going to follow up with them and whatnot.
And the great thing is that's free or very close to.
Yeah.
CRM is
cheap.
$50 a month.
Yeah. Yep. I've got one. I can't remember. I think the one I use is Now Certs, but it's kind of designed around insurance. So it's nice in that way. And yeah, I couldn't imagine operating without that. Right. The one thing I do need to add into it, which it doesn't have automatically, is like email automations. Cause that's one thing I'm not good at. Like I've got it where it'll automatically send an email when you send in a quote request, but it's like, okay, but what if they don't reply after a week? Right. It's like, that's an easy thing that I should be able to fix. Maybe that's what I need to talk to Claude about. How do I do this?
Yeah. Give me a 21-day follow-up process for emails.
Yeah.
And then
how
have
can
a
I
conditional
automate?
on if they respond, if they don't, if they respond, stop so that I can manually respond. AI is not great at following up with, it's good at following up with leads that aren't engaging with you.
Yeah.
It's not something I want to have representing my company.
No.
So when I get somebody that's having a conversation with me, I want to handle that personally. That's when the AI stops.
Yeah. The AI is the, hey, you haven't responded yet. What's going on? Hey, you haven't responded yet. What's going on? It's not the, oh, you responded. Here's all this and all that. Like if I already know what questions I'm going to ask someone, it can send that for me.
Yes.
But when they reply, right, maybe I can manually take it and then say, okay, run these quotes. But it shouldn't. Yeah. You want to automate some things and you don't want to automate some things.
Yes.
That's actually a good question. Like, I suppose we're kind of already talking about it, but like, right, what shouldn't be automated? Obviously, the human interaction, when they're ready to talk to the person, it should be a person. Yeah.
I'm gonna flame Chipotle on this one. So if somebody just posted
I saw this last night.
yeah, they're like, give me the formula for this, like some math equation they were
Yeah.
doing for their homework, and it prints that out on their like chatbot on their website, and it's like, would you like a burrito or a bowl? I'm
Yeah.
like, oh,
It's so funny. It's like, guys, don't pay for ChatGPT Premium. Use Chipotle's chatbot. Yeah,
So that's an example of what to not automate, right? You can have it answer like basic things if you're getting a lot of the same questions. You know, in the dealership space, is this car available? Like, yeah, I can answer that.
yeah.
What features does this have? It can answer that. Like it has access.
It knows
to
better
that
than the
data.
people do.
Yeah. What kind of interest rate am I going to get?
No,
I don't know. Now you need to talk to somebody because I don't know what your credit looks like. I don't know. Like now there's variables here that it can't really predict and that
Yeah.
you don't want it to have the information. So yeah, at a certain point of that journey, when you have engagement from a customer, that needs to stop the
Yeah.
automation. Until that point, it's great at prospecting.
Yeah. But and then the other nice thing about that is now your human that you have on the other end, it knows, right? The human, your human that's taking that, whether that's you or an employee, knows what to expect in all these. It's like the person, the people that are coming through, they're already warm and they need a specific thing or they're ready to quote, or right. You're not having to guide someone through 15 steps of, hey, are you ready to buy this? Or, hey, are you ready to get this? Or, hey, are you ready for a home insurance quote? Right. Like I have some people where we follow up with them like once a year. It is manually. And it's just like, hey, we did a quote for you last year. For whatever reason, it didn't work out. Hey, or we manually put in a touch points. Like one of the cool selling points I have is, one of my insurance companies, they only look back 3 years on if you've had like accidents and tickets. Most companies look back 5 years.
Right.
And so I always put like, if they had an accident 2 years ago, I'm going to put the day before that 3-year point to just be like, hey, I saw that this was the reason that we didn't get you at the time, right? There was an accident. It was cheaper to do this way or that way or whatever. But your accident falls off tomorrow. I have a company that can quote you without an accident. Right. And so that's one of my really easy turning points. And I just put a little X date on it and it follows up and manually sends, well, it doesn't manually always do it. Sometimes it's automated. I've had to tweak it a few times. It'll just send that email and be like, hey, we're at that point. Just want to double check. Is this still the right information to get a quote? Let me know if anything's changed. I'll run numbers. Right. And then it follows up a couple of times. And like, that's a great way to use AI to automate that follow. So I don't have to remember or check my calendar. It's like, oh, who do I have to follow up with this month? It's like,
Well, you don't even
automated.
need to use AI for that. You can just use an automation. You know,
Yeah.
if you're following up like 3 days or 3 years from a certain day and it's consistent, that's an automation, not AI, because
That makes sense.
it doesn't have to think. It's going to be the same. Birthday follow-ups, things like that, right? It's going to happen the same.
dude, I hate getting birthday follow-ups.
Really?
I hate getting emails. Like every year on my birthday, I get like a ton of emails from like old banks I've gotten loans from and credit unions that I don't even use anymore and like car dealerships that I've purchased from in the past. And like, dude, I hate getting like 80 birthday emails from just corporations. It's I don't know. I'm sure some people love that.
I mean, a lot of them give you
I'm
free
not.
stuff. I like that.
Yeah, I do like Tucano's
Restaurants are
email.
great.
Tucano's is great.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It's your birthday, get a free dessert or get 15% off or whatever it is.
I love that.
Or bring your spouse/partner and buy one, get one free or whatever, It's like, yeah, I'll do that.
I know it's automated, but at least it feels like they care.
Yeah.
They're giving me stuff. I like that.
Yeah. We care in exactly the way that affects our pocketbook.
Yeah. Correct.
And we're going to show you that. But right, if you really like eating at Tucano's, like that's value for you.
Yeah.
Because you're going to spend money anyways. So it's like, yeah, I can spend a little bit less next time I go do that thing I like doing. Right. Like sometimes I've heard some people where it's like, it's not worth running ads for discounts for certain things because it's like those people are already going to buy that product. Why discount it? But it's something, it's awareness or consistency or whatever.
And it's different for every niche, right?
Yeah. Restaurants are way different than car dealerships.
Yes. Yeah. In your case, a lot of it is automation more than AI, but you can use it to prospect for sure.
Yeah. I'm gonna figure that out. That's my goal over the next month. How much of my stuff can I automate? And I might have to buy a new computer to handle it because at work I've got like this tiny little mini thing because it was cheap and it's portable if I do need to move it. And it's tiny. But my at-home computer is a computer I built with my brother like a decade ago. Right. I mean, it's high-end parts for 10 years ago, but nowadays it's not. It's
for
not
10
the
years
most
ago.
powerful. Yeah. For 10 years ago, it's great. And it still functions for everything I need it to do. But if I'm going to do something more complex, we're going to see how, because I saw, oh shoot, what's that one guy's name that everyone loves on the internet, that PewDiePie. Where like he did this video like a month or two ago where he spent like 20 to 30 grand on like computers and hard drives and set up all these AI automations and like it was a pretty cool video, right? Where he's like, I want to know about this. And he had the AI bots like voting against which ones were giving bad answers. And if they got below a certain threshold of quality, they literally got deleted and it made a new agent. And so like the AIs were like colluding to not have each other die. It's like, wait, we need a vote for Jeremy so that he doesn't get below that threshold. Like they were like figuring out how to stay alive. And so he had to like change his algorithm so they couldn't see where each other was. Like it was hilarious. I didn't understand half of what he was talking about, but I'm like, this is cool. But right, he spent a lot of money on this setup. Probably doesn't need to be that expensive because I'm not doing whatever it is he's doing. But
you'd be fine with a Mac Mini, honestly.
Yeah, he basically remade Google, right? Like that's what he wanted. He's like, I want to search, like his whole thing lately is screw Google and screw all these companies that spy on you and steal your data. So he's like, I want my own search engine that's going to trawl the internet and find things for me, right? So basically, if you're trying to build Google, hey, 30 grand ain't too bad. But
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Definitely cost a lot more than that the first time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. It's crazy. Okay. Wow. I don't even know where to go from this because this is just so fascinating to me and I know so little. Starting from zero, like I suppose I'm kind of half talking about AI and automation because I feel like it's meshed, this marketing and AI nowadays. Like if someone's absolutely zero, no knowledge, no experience, where would be a good place to start in like utilizing AI to help them market?
Whatever's going to take the most work off of your plate and give you the highest amount of your time back, whatever that is. And if you don't know, have a conversation with it and ask. I mean, if you're spending, 5 hours a week on sending out these emails or 5 hours a week doing whatever it is, and that's like one of your biggest repeatable actions every day, every week, start with that. Because then you have more time back to think through this.
The other things.
Right, exactly. I work so much that I have to think that way so I can continue
to output so much.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it's what was the phrase, the metaphor, whatever. I like to bite off more than I can chew and then figure out how to chew it. And the only way to do that is to get increasingly efficient over time so you can continue doing that. So I have to as a necessity with what I'm doing.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's just wild to me. I don't even know. Just that thought process, because most people don't think that way, right? Most people are, what activity is going to pay me the most and how can I do that? And it's like, well, if you can get rid of the things that aren't as important, you can spend more time focusing on that, right? Like I was telling you, it's like, I spend so much time doing this and I spend so much time doing this and managing agents. It's like, okay, well, if I can simplify that and cut 10 hours out, it's like that's 10 more hours that I can then focus on. How can I market better? How can I improve? Like, I don't even have a website right now, right? It's like, that's an easy thing I should probably fix is get a website. Like
very-
that's important, right? Because especially because I plan to start offering more things, right? Like because it's Financial Ginger, right? The point of it is to provide financial services, and right now that's just auto and home insurance. But it's like my degree was in financial planning. I'm passionate about all the areas of it. It's like I want to, partner with tax people and be like, hey, if you need taxes done or you need your bookkeeping done, boom, I have some life insurance, health insurance people that I'm networking with that I've had on the podcast where it's like, eventually we're going to figure out something and it's going to be, hey, Financial Ginger, like I know everyone needs life insurance. Everyone needs health insurance. Get it from someone you trust, right? The people that listen. So it's like, how can I spend more time on building those partnerships? And if I can cut out some of this stuff that might be fluff work that I can get automated, hey, I can now spend those time on the things that move the needle, right? Move the income needle, move that ability to serve more people better, because it doesn't serve anyone to just waste a bunch of time doing tasks that could be automated. That doesn't serve anyone. That doesn't even serve yourself.
It's like a what's your time worth question. And I constantly analyze that. What is, an hour of my time actually worth? And you can make more money by doing more work, sure, but your time's not worth more, right? You're making more money. What are you going to do with that to make your time worth more? At some point, you have to buy your time back so that you can continue putting more on the plate to make your time worth more. It's like the cycle, but that's worked really well to make my time worth quite a bit.
Yeah.
But that's how I look at it.
It kind of reminds me of the 4-Hour Work Week, that book.
I don't think I've read that one yet.
Oh, I recommend it. But it's basically right, that concept of like you were talking about the circle. It's how can I spend less time doing the things that massively move the needle, and what can I buy back by paying an employee or an AI, or he doesn't say AI in that book, or an LLM, right? It's just like you need to realize your value is so much that if you only spent your time doing the things that actually move the needle, and then eventually that needle changes and it's like, okay, I don't need to figure that out anymore. I can automate it or hire someone or whatever it is, right? Like it's the reason that I got hired when I started my job. It's like Aaron was doing everything by himself and it was just him, right? Like 80-hour work weeks. Selling is like, oh, how can I duplicate myself, hire someone that can then do quotes? And then he's doing half as many quotes. Right. And now he's got 6 or 7 employees and he doesn't do any quotes. All he does is the selling. Right. It's like, hey, when he was in the office, all he does is call people. Hey, here's a quote ready to go. Hey, here's this. Right. Like that's what he wants to be doing. Right. Because that's what he finds moves the needle, which obviously does, doing the sales. Right. Where he hardly does quotes anymore. Right. Like occasionally he does Bear River. That's his preferred company. And that's what he loves writing for. So he'll sometimes do those, but it's like, he sometimes will even ping me. It's like, hey, what's my login for this company? Because he hasn't used it in 6 months, right? Because he doesn't need to, because he's bought back his time through hiring 6 or 7 employees, right? And so that's kind of what the 4-Hour Work Week is all about. But his whole goal is to cut your time so much and then stop taking on more at a certain point to where you truly can just run that business with 4 hours, and then you can move on to an entirely new business.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Yeah, I get that. So, hours. I mean, I brought in a lot of, I've got 5 salespeople.
Yeah.
And they're commission only, which is nice for me because there's not an expense unless there's something coming in. But what was happening is I had so many sales calls that I had to be on that I couldn't do the work and be on the sales call at the same time, where I have 7 hours of sales calls.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, like it's inbound traffic. I can hire somebody to walk through this and then buy that time back. And then I can go work on making the rest of my system more efficient with that time.
Yeah. What's cool is you're now doing what you want to be doing.
Yes.
Right? Like when Aaron, my boss, he wants to be on sales calls 7 hours a day. That's what he wants to. He doesn't want to deal with the other stuff. So he doesn't.
Yep.
Right? That's what I do. Right? And for you, you're like, I don't want to be on 7 hours of sales calls a day. I want to be doing this. I want to be the efficiency and cutting that, right? And all. So you spend your time doing that. And it doesn't matter what you want to be doing. You can still hire people to do the other stuff that you don't want to be doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hire people to do the things that you don't want to do. Sometimes I do want to jump on a sales call, but I have that right. So I can jump on the call and then say, okay, that was fun. We got a client. Great.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go work on stuff for 4 hours. And then I get tired of staring at a computer. So I want to go do something else and just kind of hop around to whatever I really want to be doing.
ADHD.
Yep. Yeah. And then I just spent probably $12,000 hiring some cold call appointment setters to build that pipeline.
Oh.
So most of my work has been referrals over the years, people reaching out to me, not really the other way around. That's kept me more than busy. And when we hit a point where we could really grow because of all these automations and tools, like, okay, we can handle 10 times the traffic we ever could. So how do we get it?
Especially once you've got 5 trained salespeople and all that, you're like, okay, we're ready.
Yeah. And now
Let's
we're ready
explode.
to handle that many sales calls because somebody will be available. And the cool thing is none of these guys are full time. They're working their jobs. They're running their companies. So, meeting goes in the chat and everyone's like, okay, well, who can take the meeting? I'm free. Great. They jump on, they handle it. That's fine. And these guys are cold calling, 3,000 calls a week, companies all over the country, bringing them in. And like that whole sales funnel is pretty much automated at this point. There's always room for improvement.
Yeah, of course.
It's pretty much self-managing.
You come back to it every once in a while just to double check how the automations are doing and where to tweak it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like running Facebook ads. It's like, hey, let's just you're not checking it every single day. It's not your full-time job. It's part of your process every week or every 2 weeks or whatever your time frame is. Coming back and checking, is this working right? How do I optimize this more? Right? Or like you even saying earlier, like you can have an agent do that.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'll just give you alerts. Like that's built in as a feature with Facebook. Same with Google. You can set alerts. So if a campaign goes over so much per click or becomes, less efficient, it sends you a notification. You're like, oh, I need to go look at this right now. And then you don't have to worry about it.
That's cool. That's nice with the ADHD too.
Yes.
Because it's just
anxiety
pop up and you're
fixes
like,
that.
yeah.
So I don't have to worry about it unless it tells me I need to worry about it.
And then
I
it's
need
exciting.
to go fix it. Yeah, exactly.
It makes it cool and fun.
Yeah. As long as I don't get 10 of those a day, we're fine.
Do you get 10 of those a day?
No. 2 maybe.
That's awesome. Wow. That's cool. I think that this is insightful, especially for me, like trying to figure out my next steps, right? And trying to be more efficient and more autonomous. Because I think there's a lot of small businesses out there that are like, I don't know what to do. And that's why I've asked so many of those questions. It's like, okay, just get talking with the chat bot, right? Like figure out what it can do and automate for you, right? It's going to tell you things that are obvious. Like, Jacob, you don't have a website and you've been doing this for 7 years. That's a problem, right? I mean, the company I work for has a website, but that's not tied to me directly. It's not like if someone goes, and looks up the agency I work for and calls them, like that doesn't affect my funnel. It doesn't affect my income at all. So it's like, okay, cool. That's fine. But that's why there's 6 other agents in the office, right? They handle that inflow. I'm kind of on the side building my own inflow, right? And it's like, okay, how can I get it to the point where there's enough traffic where I can offload some of that work to those other agents for part of the commission or whatever. And like, that's really the exciting part for me. It's like, how can I get so much traffic, right? And I think that's a great place to start, is figuring out with Claude and these other AI systems.
I mean, if you could figure out how to free up an hour a day of your time that you now have moving forward without adding to your plate, or maybe you do until you can automate that hour.
Yeah.
Once you have that hour back, spend that hour figuring out what you can make more efficient, and just keep doing that. And you're going to be able to, get more and more and more of your time back. And you don't have to work 80 hours a week to do it. It might take you an extra couple hours a day for a week.
Yeah.
And then you've bought an hour a day back. Well, what can you do with that if you use it for something and not just scrolling Instagram? Because you don't have anything to do for an hour.
Because that's the thing. And some people think, oh, like I've seen some people that are like, oh, I get a pay raise or I make a little money, I'm going to work less. Right. And that's fine if that's how you want to spend, right? You get to choose how you spend your time. Where if you think this is a season where I'm going to go harder, right? I'm going to spend 60 hours and figure this out because in the future, that's going to save me some time, right? It's all about, front loading that cost. And that's what you have to do, especially when you're a new business.
Yeah.
Like I know some people that they start a brand new company and it's all you all day, and it's like, oh, there's no one else until you get to a point where you can hire people, or you're losing money if you do start off hiring people until you get right. Like, so it's all trade-offs. That's what all this is trade-offs. It's like, how can I spend my time well? How can I get to where it's automated? How can I get to where it's profitable? Like, those are all questions you have to answer as a business person.
Yeah. It's always like a chicken in the, sorry, it sounds my phone here.
Oh, you're good.
It's always a chicken and the egg problem a little bit, right? Like, you don't have the resources to just hire people to figure it out. You don't have the time to acquire the resources. Like, you got to figure it out somewhere. And that's where you end up putting in an extra 4 or 5 hours a day until you crack that.
Yeah.
But once you have it, and that's the hard thing with being an entrepreneur, like you have to figure all of that out for yourself. There is no system. You are the system. You have to build it.
Yeah.
Once you get it built, that's when you really get the rewards of that.
That's why I think it's so hard, especially for me, because like I was the kid that did really good in school, right? Like I got A's and studied well and passed the tests and all that. But like, that doesn't teach you how to develop and build your own systems. At least in my opinion, it didn't, right? Like I learned how to learn is a hard way to say it, but entrepreneurship's a different type of learning how to learn. And it's just so confusing because yes, people can guide you and help you, but no matter how much you are guided and helped, you still ultimately at the end of the day have to do it yourself, right? Like, yeah, I'm told, hey, you need to be doing marketing. Here's some of those techniques and ideas. Okay, but still at the end of the day, I have to, what's my voice? How am I going to express myself? How am I going to post? Right? It's like, oh, cool, Metricool is a tool, or, oh, hey, there's this, or, hey, you should be talking about this, or here's what other successful insurance agents have talked about, but at the end of the day, like, you still have to do all the work in a different way than it is studying for a test in school, right? Like, it's not just, there's no just prove you know. It's like, you have to like, I don't know. It's worse than the math equations where you have to show all your work because you have to build it all. I hate it.
No, it makes a ton of sense. I'm the exact opposite. I was a horrible student. I graduated with like a 2.4 GPA. Like, I did fine on all the standardized tests. I did really well on those. But I could not care less about my GPA or homework or anything. I didn't, because it didn't seem like it applied to anything beneficial. And I couldn't just hire somebody to do the things I didn't want to do. So that didn't really work for school. That is the perk of running business, is when there's something you don't want to do, you can just kind of offload that if you want to.
Yeah, just figure it out.
Yeah. And that there's never been an easier time to do that than right now, because software is cheap.
Software is really cheap. Yeah, it's kind of wild how many programmers, like how low the cost is to create custom software.
Yeah.
Right? It's just talk to AIs and LLMs and they'll figure it out. It's running
programmers out of business. That's what I went to college for computer science. And I dropped out after a year because, again, bad at school. So just spent 50 grand on effectively nothing. And everybody's graduating making, 80, 100 grand a year, which used to be a lot of money.
Yeah.
And a lot of those people are now looking for jobs because AI caught up to them so fast. Like, you don't need to pay this guy 100 grand a year because your AI can replace 10 of them.
Yeah.
A fraction.
And then you only need one person to kind of manage the output, right? And revise some of it and optimize some of it, or re-ask it questions or figure out where it's breaking or whatnot, right? It's almost like instead of needing a programmer, you need like a program engineer, or like almost like a driver, right? It's like you need one person to steer this car, right, rather than you need 10 people that are going to pull, like, you need 10 workhorses, right? Like, you can think about a programmer as pulling it, and with LLMs, it's just, you need a driver that's managing that engine. It's totally different.
It's like conducting the orchestra.
Yeah.
Like, they know how to play the instrument. They don't know how to put them all together very well. So that's where you come in and kind of steer everything.
Exactly. And some people, like, joke that, code written by LLMs cannot be as good, but that's the whole point of orchestration is as you teach it, it gets better and better, and you need less and less of a workforce. Right? And people are like, oh, how do you get rid of 10 jobs? It's like, well, if there's 1,000 jobs there doing it, yeah, some of them are going to get cut back as they turn more into orchestrative roles. Or it's kind of like with shipping, right? People are talking about how theoretically in the next couple of years, right, as we get more and more autonomous driving and self-driving vehicles, instead of paying a truck driver, you're going to have, like autonomous electronic vehicles or EV trucks or whatever it ends up being, even gas, but the computers can drive them. Yeah. Right. You just have to get the laws to change to the point where they can be driven that way. And then instead of that, you're just going to have mobile mechanics that go around and are fixing ones that break down on the side of the road. Right. It's like, well, you don't have truck drivers. We have a highly skilled labor, right? Not that it's not high skilled labor, right? There's a lot of knowledge that goes into being a truck driver, but repairing those is going to be, right, it's just going to be a change, right? And that's what I think is funny is people come in and get scared. They're like, oh no, we're going to lose those jobs. I'm like, think about all the jobs that have been lost over the years, right? Like, we don't have nearly as many railroad operators as there used to be. What about like switchboard operators for phone calls? Like, those don't even exist anymore, right? And it used to be this huge network of jobs. Or like secretaries. My mom used to work for McDonnell Douglas, right, with the aerospace program in California. And there was like one guy and had like 25 secretaries, and they were like copying letters, right? This was before computers. This was in like the late 80s.
Yep.
And like they're copying a letter 80 times and mailing it out to all these different people because that's how you did it, right? Like and so it's just interesting to see how it's gone from these executives that have 25 people that just copy letters and photocopy things or whatever there is for the time. And nowadays it's like, dude, I got a LLM that I click a button and it sends an email to 700,000 people.
Yeah.
Think about how many people that would take to send out 700,000 letters back in the 80s before we had computers and fax machines, right? Like, technically there were fax machines, but you guys get the point.
It's come a long way and it's not slowing down at all.
No, and I'm not perfect with my analogy, but you guys get the picture, right? And so being efficient is more. And I think a lot of people are scared of where to start. So I really like that you've emphasized multiple times. It's like, just ask it where to start, right? Like it'll just talk with it like a human of where do I start? What do I do? What have other people done? What's the most important thing in your opinion? What are several things we can do free now? It's like, oh, well, or really cheap. It's like, you need a website. You don't have a website. Oh, how's your funnel look? How's it? Like it'll get to know you, and you tell it what isn't working too. It's like, that didn't work. I don't like that, or whatever, right? Like, yeah, it's kind of interesting just to think that you can do all of that. How do you use LLM in marketing?
A lot of ways. So it's really good at pulling in data and finding.
Like, imagine you're not using it to like generate the photos, right? Because
100%.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, totally.
Jeez.
Dude, like Nano Banana is so good. And a year ago, there wasn't really anything that great, but it gets better so fast. You can absolutely do that.
Have you seen the evolution of Will Smith eating spaghetti?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. It's gotten so good. It's hard to tell the difference now. A lot of companies are doing that. Big dealerships are automating, or manufacturers are automating images of their car, because it's way faster to do that than to go take a shoot and go to the mountains and, pay 10 people for 2 days to go shoot a bunch of pictures. And like, it takes you.
It's not as efficient. Yeah.
Or
I saw
$3.
I saw an ad from Jeep that I swear it had to have been AI.
I'm sure it was.
Because it was like a guy driving a car like through like grape orchards on clearly a large like 100-acre estate, and it was blue Jeep, and like just the way it moved was slightly weird to my eye, and I'm like, maybe it was a high res camera or maybe it was AI. But then he gets up to he drives up the marble steps, up to like the front porch area, and he gets out of the car and he's got like the ball for the dog that's sitting on the front porch. And the wife's like, "Oh, did you find it?" It's like, "Yeah, I found it." Right? Like the dog lost a ball in this 100 acres, and I'm like, that's a weird, like it was just such a weird video. Like it was effective, right? And it looked like all the normal Jeep ad things, but I was like, something seemed a little bit weird about it. I'm like, it doesn't look like they actually went to Italy and shot this, but it probably was. It probably was.
Wouldn't. Yeah. I mean, how expensive would that be?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You can use it for image creation. You can use it for strategy. There's a ton you can do with it.
Yeah.
Just figuring out which tool to use is the important part.
I've used it a little bit. Like, I don't use it to make my YouTube thumbnails. I probably should, but I've used it to be like, critique my thumbnails. Because I just started doing thumbnails. Like the first 25 episodes of my podcast, it's literally just like a screenshot from the episode, which is terrible. So like I started making them, and then I'll be like, wait, like this is an example of me talking with it. I'll be like, what do the top podcasters do? Like, what does Diary of a CEO do? What does Joe Rogan do? Like, what are these ones that get, and it'll show me pictures, or it'll pull up YouTube and it'll be like, here's these huge Indian podcasts that have 7-8 million views that are from like a week ago. And I'm like, whoa. And I don't read Hindi or any of that script. But it's just like, oh, well, they proportionately 60% of the image is human face. That usually improves click-through ratio, or it'll be like, I used to use the background of the room that I recorded in, and it's like, that's bad. Don't use that. Like Diary, all these companies, they use black backgrounds or really dark blue or green, or they'll show a picture from the episode. Like I was talking with a lawyer, and it's like, you should have a gavel or something that represents law in the image. So you don't need to put that he's a lawyer, right? You can just have his name, and then there's a gavel. And the words on the screen, and don't have more than 4 to 6 words. And one of them should be highlighted, and right, like all these things that other people have done. I'm like, oh, but then you have to also think about, it's like, how much of that is just, that's what they do, right? And they're good independent, or how much of that actually does improve. And that's obviously
correlation and causation.
Yeah. Correlation and causation is its own thing too. So, but it's interesting to use it that way. I haven't liked some of the ones I've used to like generate thumbnails. And probably it's because I haven't found the right tool yet.
Yeah, I mean, you can ask it like, hey, if I want to do this, what would be the best tool? What are my options, and what's the cost on those? And it'll give you like a little breakdown of all of them. And then go try a few of them and see which one you really resonate with. And the cool thing is, because it just gave you all of those instructions of what you should be doing, you can just upload that as a prompt effectively, fill in, this is the context of the episode, this is whatever, and it will generate it based off that. It just told you the prompt to put into another thing to do it for you.
Yeah.
So
that's so wild. Wow. It's just interesting to me, like how all of that works. I mean, that's actually how I found vidIQ and Riverside and Opus Clips and all these tools that I've used for editing my podcast. Well, I like Opus clips a lot like now, but I might switch over to vidIQ. Right. It just takes it right out of my Google Drive and it pre-chops a bunch of stuff and it tells me what it thinks is good and what isn't good.
I've been looking for something like that. That's good.
Yeah. For these long form, a lot of the ones that I make, I mean, the studio makes my agreement with them and that they chop it up for me, but I've gone in and done some of my own. And I really like Opus clips for that. And it's really
That's
easy.
good to know. I have
It
a
assigns a
podcast I'm actually
score.
starting soon, and I've been looking for something to do that for editing.
Yeah.
So that's great.
The best ones that people use are vidIQ, Opus clips, and Riverside. But Riverside is more of like an all-in-one. Like they want to be like the managing and posting your clips for you. And I don't like I use Metricool for that. But the reason I really like Riverside is when I do remote episodes, I've done a couple remote episodes with people like Maddie G.
I just watched that actually. Yeah.
Yeah, Maddie's is great. I love that episode. That one I recorded using Riverside. And the reason I like Riverside, like when I first started 10 years ago before, like I had another podcast before this one 10 years ago. And it was The FinancialGinger back when I was in college. But that one, what was I saying? ADHD brain. I was recording when I was remote and I just told them to download VLC media player and record themselves and then send me the file. Right. And then like, it worked, but it was so horribly inefficient. The reason I like Riverside is it records natively on both ends, video and audio. So if you have like, internet glitches, you're still getting full quality audio and visual of them because they are recording natively on their side. Right. And then you get it all immediately afterwards. Like it uploads while it's recording. And so even if you disconnect for a second or your internet's a little wobbly, right, you still have full quality everything. Unless it's a hardware issue, which obviously, right. And then I just gave the link to, like, you can literally share a link to all the data. I shared it with the podcast studio here. They were able to go download all of her files, merge it, mesh it, do all the stuff they do. I'm like, it's amazing.
That's yeah.
Yeah. And then they also use a program here, right? Because there's obviously 3 cameras where it automates, like it finds voice levels or who's talking, or if both of us are talking, it'll use the middle camera or right. Like, so there's all sorts of automations that I've used. I know the studio uses, but Opus Clips is one I really like. It's not perfect, but right. If it can find, here's 37 quality moments, here's the 10 that are the best, you can use that. And then you can actually manipulate it yourself in Opus Clips, or you can use it to go to your, whatever software you're using for video editing and manipulate it further. Or it's like, oh, this is good, but it missed this little bit at the end. I'll extend it and I don't need this filler. Boom. Now we're short. And you can specify how long you want the clips. You're like, I want under 15 seconds. I want under 30 seconds. I want 2-minute plus clips, right? It's like, what do you want?
Oh, you just made my life so much
easier.
easier.
And Opus Clips, you can also even say what you want. Like, I want high emotion moments. Like with Batty, that was the prompt I put in there. I'm like, prioritize high emotion moments because this is about someone who's paying off their debt, right? $65,000 of credit card debt, like, is pretty significant.
Yeah.
And that like, I want emotional sides. Or like I'm talking with a plumber, I'm like, pull out the most educational moments, right? And I'll sometimes draft a little bit more on that, and I'll sometimes go to chat and Grok and be like, how can I ask better questions? So I've done that where I'm like, ask me, how can I ask better questions? Oh, I love that, especially because vidIQ kind of does similar things. What it'll do YouTube research for you. It's like, here's thumbnails that are similar. Here's ideas in this. And then I'll take that to Grok and I'll be like, hey, it thinks this is good. What's actionable for me on YouTube and what you see? How can I improve this? And then I'll go back and like, the thumbnail idea you gave me is terrible. Or the description is bad because it's emphasizing this, which might seem important, but right, that's because you're saying other YouTube channels that talk about this are important. I talked about that for 30 seconds. It's not the important part of the episode. So that's wrong. Most of it's talking about this, right? So it's
the whole context. Right?
Yeah. Because if you promise the wrong thing, if someone reads, your title and your description and looks at your thumbnail, you might have done what AI thinks is great. But if it's not the actual content you're delivering on, people aren't going to trust you.
Yep.
Right. And so it's cool to use it as a tool to just be better or more efficient, or to do marketing things I didn't know how to do, like hashtags. I don't know that, but it doesn't matter as much on Instagram now, but like YouTube still cares about hashtags. Yeah. Right. Not as much, but anyways, it's a whole thing. So this is fun.
Yeah.
This has been great. I appreciate it.
I'm really glad you shared that with me. That probably just saved me 10 hours a week right there.
Yeah. Opus Clips is really, really good. And there's a few other ones that do it too, but Opus Clips is also really cheap comparatively, right? Like, I think I got like 60 hours of processing and it was like $108.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, not bad. I think there was a little bit of a sale going on, like Black Friday when I did it, because I launched in November, but it's not bad at all. Like, Riverside is great too, and vidIQ are fine. Like they're just a little bit more expensive, right? And they had some extra features, but I'm like, I don't want any of that, right? Like, I don't need it to write my thumbnails and descriptions and stuff for me, which some of them do. But yeah, Opus is really great. Highly recommend it. Opus, sponsor me. We're going to get code Ginger or
They've
something.
got the money too, for sure.
Yeah, they're great. I like those software programs. They're helpful. But yeah, anyways, we should probably wrap up. I appreciate this. This has been great. Ryan, if people are listening and they're like, I need to get some marketing genius from Ryan, how can people connect with you?
You can just find me on Instagram or Howard333. I don't really use the one for the business ever, to be honest with you.
Cool.
My
I'll
website,
throw it in the description too.
redlinedesignllc.com. You can check out what we do there.
Website's sweet.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All AI, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I built some gnarly stuff. That's kind of where everything's going. Or you can email me, ryan@redline.design, and I'll get back to you.
Sweet. Or one of his 5 sales guys will.
Yes. Yeah. If you email me personally, I'll get back to you.
It'll be great. Well, perfect. Thank you so much for being on. This has been great.
Thank you.